Hello, everybody. Those of you who don't know me, I'm Cliff Bass. I'm the sales manager in Orange County. I hope you guys are all doing well. I got to put my eyeballs on so I can see what I'm doing. Let me give you some quick background, guys. So, all of us have been for the last 9 years, 10 years competing against Agent One, Fidelity's Agent One, or lawyers, or whoever it is, right? Whoever's using it. And nobody has seemed to come up with a NetSheet app that would compete. So I started at WFG about 5 years ago, and I've been working with Justin trying to get one of our third-party vendors to create a NetSheet app. And the closest that we came was with Fetch. It's cumbersome. It only does a few things. It's not very interactive, and we get more complaints about it than anything. So 3 years ago, we went to Benutech, who is Fetch, and said, hey, we want you to create a NetSheet app for us. That's what we want you to do. And for 2.5 years, they said they were working on it. And at 2.5 years, we finally said, we haven't seen anything from you, nothing. What's going on? Their response to us was, we decided we weren't going to do it. We're a desktop company, not an app company. So at that time, I leaned on some people that I know in the industry, because I've been in the industry for just under 30 years. Yes, I'm very old. And I partnered up with a developer, and we created WFG Net Sheets. So this is my product. What it does, what that means to you is that if there are problems with it, you have direct access to me, and we'll do updates and changes. We launched this about a month ago in Orange County, and we've already made changes to the app accordingly. So, it's designed for us to be out in the field with, and to beat up, to have something to compete with. So without any further ado, this is the actual net sheet, WFG Net Sheets. You can get it on the App Store. And when you do go in to get it, or you send your agents there, they have to have a rep code, and I'll be sending those out to Robert. Then when they type that rep code in there, it automatically defaults your information down here at the bottom and throughout the app. Okay, so it always has your contact information, your smiley mug, and the ability to reach you. Okay. One of the things that as a sales manager I always get is phone calls on Sunday afternoon wanting to know what a rate is on a title transaction, because the sales rep doesn't have their rate book. So we actually put in the WFG rates into the system. It goes to infinity, and what that means is that if you have an $8.5 million transaction and you want to know what the title fee is on it, it will calculate up to that for you, and give you the escrow and title and buyer's side on that fee, right? So you no longer have to carry around your rate book. This will be very soon a API, so it will always change if WFG changes their rates, and you'll always have access to it. As you can see, it's really easy. It calculates very quickly, and you no longer have to worry about it, right? So there's number one. That's my favorite part of the app, by the way, so I always like to show it off. Okay.
I love that.
So we're going to start with the seller net sheet. So when your real estate agent is out there sitting at a bar, or at a soccer game or something like that, and they want to somebody's interested in selling their house, they can actually just type in what it is. Do they currently have, what type of loan do they have currently? We'll just say conventional at this moment. What their current loan balance is. So let's just say it's $789,000. They're going to be guessing. What is their current interest rate? This default here, this listing agent and selling agent is defaulted, and I'll show you where you can change that in a moment. So an agent can say, no, I only pay the selling agent 2% or whatever. Okay, they can guesstimate on what their repairs might be. The property taxes really will depend on how long they've lived in the house. If they've lived in the house just a couple of years, they could just use your state taxes. But if they've lived in there a few years, they can always just click in and put in the $sign. Maybe, excuse me, it's going down. they can just put in a dollar sign, and then it's the monthly fee or the monthly that they're paying. So let's say that they're paying $900 a month in property taxes. Okay. In Southern California, there's no city tax, so that's always blank. If there is an HOA, they would type in the HOA. It automatically defaults to WFG National Title and Escrow. They would have to override that and then type in the dollar amounts in the next spot I'm going to show you, okay? So let's just say that they're going to close on February 15th. That's the guesstimate. And you hit calculate. So it automatically puts in what the seller's going to net. It shows the sales price, loan amount, prorated taxes, prorated interest, and total closing costs. They want to know what those total closing costs are. They would click on the See Closing Costs. And it takes them to this screen, which shows taxes, prorated mortgage interest, and total of prepaids. Then it gives you your escrow and title fees. As you see, it pulls in our escrow and our title fees. So if they're using an independent escrow, they're going to have to change that and make it higher. Sub-escrow fee, recording fees. And then you have your listing broker's fees, home warranty, NHD, flood cert, termite, etc. Repairs are built in there. It prorates the HOA costs, but it also does what the average HOA doc fee and transfer costs are, okay? And then any other government fees, so you have your transfer tax and your 593, all right? If you make changes to this, so let's just say that the repairs are now going to be, oops, gonna work. Well, something's on. There it goes. Let's say that the termite is actually going to be 750. They would just click in the 750, and then they would hit update, and it makes the changes on this first screen again. Okay. Questions so far? Now, let's say that they want to send that to their possible seller. This button up here is the share. And it creates a really nice PDF form for them. They can be sent off. It has all of the information in there for the customer. They again just click on the out button and they can send that via text message. They can email it to them, however they want to transfer that over to them. Okay. Questions on seller? Right, so they can either just jump over to a buyer down here at the bottom, or they can go to the home, and there's other calculators too. I'm just going to take you back to home so you can see how this all functions. If you go to buyer's net sheet, it's basically the same thing. You're going to buy $1 million house. Let's say that they're going to do FHA. I want to just show you something here. As I go from each, if it's conventional, you see how it puts 20% down automatically. If we go to FHA, it goes to 3.5%, and it adds in PMI. Okay, if at any time this down payment goes above 20%, PMI goes away. If at any time it goes below 20%, it's added. It does automatically pull in the most current interest rate of today. Okay, so we have that pulling in. Taxes, I don't know what yours are, but I think it's the same, 1.125. Have to have thinner fingers than mine. HOA, if they're, let's just say it's $250 for HOA. Again, it defaults to WFG National. And we'll just say that they're going to buy their house on the 30th of December. And we're going to calculate. And it gives the breakdown of the monthly payment. As you can see, the PMI is added in there. And it brings down their monthly close. And once again, you can actually go in and see what the closing costs are for everything. Now this one here, one of the big things that would change is maybe the loan origination fee might change. These are default numbers. We tried to do what an average was from a bunch of HUDs that we looked at. So that's where we came up with that. It does the ALTA concurrent rate for WFG and our escrow fees, closing costs, etc. Okay. Again, these can be changed. So like if you wanted to do 0 here, if they have a special lender, they can click that, hit update, and it will change what they need to bring to close because it takes out those lender fees. Okay. Again, if they wanted to send this off to their buyer, they could actually pull this in and send this off. Now, one of the ways that this really works well for you in the sales out in the field is, let's say that you go to an open house and you ask your agent, hey, how many, when a buyer comes in, how are you interacting? How are you getting their information? Most of the time they'll tell you, oh, it's really hard. Most of them leave. Say, look, pull this up, show them, put in the information, what their loan amount's going to be. And then to send this to them, you have to get their phone number. So now you're showing the agent how to use this on every single buyer that comes into the house and to capture their phone number and send them this information. The other agents aren't doing this, right? So there's that. One of the ways to use this, okay? Again, you can just go back in here and change it any way you want. Now, one of the things that was asked from us from interviewing sales reps was they didn't want to have to put an address in. That's why some of this stuff you have to type in, like city taxes and things like that. When you go to add an address, though, you can actually type in, we'll just make something up here, old house I had. So save the address. Then what happens is when they go in and they look into their saved calculators under buyers, that's that actual oops, under, oh, maybe it didn't. Did I not save it? I didn't save it. So anyways, if you add the address and you save it, sorry, I didn't hit that button. You have to hit this button right here, right, which I did not do. In the save calculators, it would be in the buyer's estimate. Okay, and they can pull that up, make changes, resend it, do whatever they want to do. But this, if they hit that save button, which I did not do, so I apologize, it would put in there. Okay. All right. So,
quick question, Cliff.
Yeah.
Will it save all those saved buyer estimates by address visually in the system, or by name, or both?
By both. It puts both.
Awesome.
In. Okay. All right. So another thing that we put in here was marketing. So these are WFG flyers that are available. All you have to do is click on it and the agent can send this off. Okay. So throughout the, as we add more and more stuff in here, you'll have more and more things that you can add for the agent. Now, one of the things that we are working on right now, the agents, this is at no charge. We can't use the word free. This is at no charge to the real estate agent, right? But if the real estate agent wants on their buyer and seller sheets that we just did, I'm going to do one real quick here.
Hey, Cliff, is there an activation code we need? It looks like to download it, we need one.
Yep, you're going to need an activation code. That is once Robert and I come to an agreement, each one of you get an activation code.
Oh,
if you want to use mine, you're welcome to. It's CAOC 5830. That way you can go in and play with this. Okay, so I'm going to save this.
And is there a dollar? What? I'm sorry. Was there like let's say the purchase price was 20 million. Will it calculate that? Will it go that high?
Yep. You know what I mean? I'll do one. Let me finish saving this so I can show you guys what I was talking about. So we're going to save that. Okay. So one of the things I wanted to show you, save calculators. So here's the 9 Rosenblum, right? On this output screen that I showed you earlier, here, if the real estate agent pays $9 a year, right, through the Apple or Android store, their information goes on here, down here at the bottom, okay? We also are working on, oops, we're not there yet, but we're working on these marketing flyers. If the agent pays $9 a year, their information will be on this marketing flyer, okay? So we're working on that. It's not here yet, but that's probably going to be on the next thing. So your question was on a seller sheet, how high would it go?
Yeah,
was
because I remember I bottom line and fetch kind of cap out. I think our rate book caps out, it looks like at about 5 million.
This
And
goes
then
to
it
infinity.
prorates it, you know, for $1, add $1 per 1,000.
Yeah. Ours goes to infinity. I'll show you.
Because that's kind of the challenge with some of the high dollar ones, you know, if I have to go, you know, to a TO to find out what our rate is. And
You do not have to do that anymore. And I'll
Cool.
show you. First, I'll show you on this. As you can see, it's put in escrow, title and escrow fees for the seller. Okay. Or you can actually go to this here, the WFG rate lookup. So let's say it's a $15 million property.
Can you do
Selling it.
87.5 million?
87.5 million.
Yeah.
And we'll just say the loan's 50 million.
Mark Wahlberg selling his house for 87.5 million, in case
Well,
anybody's.
there you go. We'll do it for $96,000. All right.
Okay,
Now,
yeah, that looks about right. Yep.
yeah. And you'd probably want to give him some type of a discount because this is based off of our dollar per thousand over whatever, which is in the rate manual. And when you get into these prices, there's a lot of manipulating of the rate book that you can do. So
yeah, and I'll piggyback on that, Cliff. One of the reasons why the rate book doesn't go higher than the 5 million is because after you get to that point, there's never going to be any circumstance where we're going to charge book rate. So, you know, for an $86 million deal, there's no way we're going to charge them 96,000. So, but that's kind of what the thought behind that. And that's always best to check, you know, with the TO to find out, and between them and management, we'll figure out what we can charge them. Got to be competitive in that type of space. So.
okay, so I wanted to go over some of these other things. This is the premium button up here that shows that I already have a premium account. Under settings, this is where they would put their picture in there, you know, their logo once they sign up, their address, phone number, their license number would go in here. And this right here is the defaults, right? This is the defaults for your listing and selling broker. So you can change that, excuse me, to 2%. Or if the discount listing broker that you're talking to, maybe a help you sell or something like that, you could make that a different number. Okay.
So quick question on that. If I don't have a premium account, can I edit that percentage number on the net sheet?
Yes.
Okay.
You can change any of these fields on this without a premium account. Okay. If you don't have a premium account, you're not going to be able to add your logo and your picture. Okay.
So this just simplifies it by just automatically setting the predetermined default that you choose.
That's correct.
Sweet. I love it. Easy.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, there really isn't a whole lot else to show you. You know, we have some marketing pieces that are not there yet, these are those marketing pieces. We have about us, share the app is where you could share it with your customer. Tutorials, which we're going to put tutorials in there. Right now it is blank. So because it's so new. So like he's videoing this, we're probably going to put this tutorial on here. Okay. Let's see, your customer from almost any screen can reach you. You're down here in the bottom, and they can just click on that and email you or dial you or do whatever they want to do. These are other calculators that we have in here. Under the calculator, you see I push the calculator button. So you have, this one's my favorite one, this handy calc. All you have to do is fill in 3 fields. So let's say that you're buying a house for $1 million, and then calculate, and it will automatically give you principal and interest. You could also go back the other way. You could change the interest rates around and always see what the fees are. Okay. You have extra payments if they make an extra payment on their house. You have rent versus buy. This one's nice. So their current rent, let's say, you know, right now current rents in Orange County about $5,000 a month. They're going to buy a house for $850,000. They're going to put 20% down. This is what it is. It's it will pull up today's interest rates. Taxes are 1.125, and it asks for gross annual income. So let's just say that they're in this field. Home appreciation, we can leave that. Rent appreciation will leave the same, and it'll calculate. And then what you get is by year 10, they start getting ahead of the game. Okay. Now, obviously, if home prices are going up faster, this moves down. They can adjust on and see where they are on different years. If rents are going up faster than 2%, that would make changes too. And this also, as you can see, is shareable with your customer. Customer can share that. Okay. Go home, calculators. You have net to sell. This one here is that, let's say they want to make $1 million. Currently in a conventional, they own 989,000 on their current house. Current interest rate is 2.25. Repairs 5,500. Just making this stuff up. 85, and they want to close in January. This will tell you that they to net $1 million, they need to sell their house for $2,125,000. Okay, so pretty simple. Any questions on this?
Yeah, I've got 2 questions, if I may. The tax rate area is just calculating what the base taxes are, but there's no way of being able to find out if there's Belarus or anything like that on there.
No, we're actually in the process of we finally got our API, which API allows our system to connect to Resware. And so we're working on building that back end. Marty Frame has given us permission to actually get the tax base and the city taxes. So hopefully that will change those calculations. But you are correct. Currently, it's just 1.125 or whatever you want to type in there. I think you guys are 1.225 or something. So that's what we have in there.
And the other question is, you talked about defaults with WFG escrow, but you said independents can put there and you can change that. Is it just a question?
They can change that. The real estate agent can change that. It is not connected to an independent.
Can you show us how they can change it?
Sure. I'm going to go to a seller sheet. So you type in the information. I use 1 million because it's easy to type. 50. So wouldn't they go to this spot here, see closing costs?
Uh-huh.
Down here at the bottom where it's WFG escrow.
Got it.
They can actually overtype that.
So they have to go through the system in order to change the escrow title. There's no way that it can be done at the very beginning. And the reason I bring that up, over 90% of my escrows is independent or broker-owned escrows.
Yes, I understand that. Yeah, one of the things, because we white labeled this for WFG, they paid to have their information in here. We make that, you know what, it does change. I don't know what's going on here with my screen, but it does, I promise you, it does change. All these are changeable. Okay. So I don't know why it's not clicking right now.
But you have to go through this system in order to get to that post. There is no way at the very beginning, and I understand WFG are promoting it, but if someone's paying for it and having their advertising, wouldn't it be an ideal for them to be able to change this at the very front?
We had to default to something for escrow fees. Any other questions? There is a back end to this. Once you guys get set up, each rep can go in and see what customers they have under their code, and you can turn them off unless they're paying for it. You can turn them off, right? And you can see the last time they logged in, if they're using it, that type of stuff. Robert will have the ability to go in and see which reps are logged in and whose customers are under that rep. So he can see if you're out there promoting it and, you know, if it's working and if he's spending his money wisely and all that kind of good stuff. So
pretty cool app, super simple to use.
Very cool.
I think that's the key, is that Fetch, that's the problems that Fetch had, was it was not easy to use.
we try to make it, we're trying to make this thing compete face-to-face, head-to-head with Agent One. And, you know, my job, just like Robert's, is recruiting. And so I talk to F&F group reps all the time. And it's the first thing they ask is, do you have this app, right? And so I started asking them more detailed questions, like they have the Facebook posting thing on there. I go, tell me about your Facebook posting. I have not yet met a rep that uses it or promotes that. They only talk about the NetSheet app. And when I say, hey, you know, what about this Facebook? Oh, they don't use that. It's really kind of hard. Nobody really likes it, you know, that type of stuff. So we just thought we'd stick with the NetSheet and keep making it better and better. You know, this is our first version. Those are the calculators that we currently have.
Can you go over the multiple offers one?
Sure. The multiple offers one is you put in a baseline. So the sales price, let's say, is $1 million. It's conventional. Their loan balance is 850,000. Again, it's all basically the same stuff, right? Repairs, let's just say $10,000 in repairs. 5. Closing date. Okay. So we're going to calculate that. Then we're going to do offer details, and this is where they would put in another offer. Okay, so let's just say it's from Fred. The offer is $1.5 million. Okay, and now it puts them in order of puts them in order so that they can see what their seller's net's going to be. See how it has the seller's going to net this, seller's going to net that. The only thing that we haven't quite done yet, and we are still working on it, is where the closing date matters, because that's more interest that they're paying, right? So we're working on that one. But this one just kind of puts the basic, what their home sales price is and the loan balance, and then shows the different offers that they're getting. Okay. So this is where they could go in and they can make those changes. See how I clicked on it to make changes? So let's say that the selling broker is 2%. They only want 5,000 in repairs. And they're going to close on December 30th. And that gives them that they're going to net 39,000 instead. Okay.
And again, you can add an address and save that, correct?
That's you know what, on this one there is not a way to save this one.
Okay.
The multiple offer. But you can keep adding in here different. Okay. Yeah, this is what we have currently. You know, like I said, they've got they're 10 years ahead of us. So they're going to have a little bit more in-depth taxes, or a little more in-depth information. But, you know, give me some time here. Right? This is our first version.